In a city where magic hums through the bones of ancient machines and forgotten gods sleep beneath the stone, 4 unlikely heroes, an exiled elven warden, a fire-wielding runaway, a blade-wielding tactician, and a war-weary construct, uncover a conspiracy threatening to tear the world apart. When a coordinated attack shakes the city of Atlas, what begins as a search for a missing scholar unravels a deeper mystery tied to forbidden history, fractured realms, and a dormant power waiting to awaken. As ancient visions stir and darkness returns to the land, the fate of Ulrun hangs in the balance, and only by embracing who they are and what they're meant to become can they hope to stand against the rising storm. I've got an epic fantasy for you guys. It's gonna be fun. What's up guys, Alec the author here. Thank you so much for checking out this video. This is number 2 in my series, Alec Wants to Read Your Book. Basically what this series is that I put out the call for indie authors to send me their books so that I could read them and then do a video review for them here on YouTube. I'm so happy to say that we have over 350 books. To put that into context, that means I could almost read a book a day for a year. I'm in heaven. I'm in hog heaven. Like, there are still more submissions coming in, which, great, bring them on. I want thousands of books on this list. So if you got a book, send it to me. I'll be happy to read it and review it for you. So how do we do these reviews? It's very simple. I have a rating system. I break this down into several different categories, and for each category, I give the book a point out of 5. Based on all those totals, I round it up, and at the very end, I do an overall score where I give you my full opinion of the book. Those categories are the cover, the writing, the characters, the genre, the spice level, and then the overall. Now for certain genres, I'm going to be adding in a couple of different categories. Specifically for fantasy novels, I am adding in a rating for the magic system. I feel like, and I feel like a lot of people feel like, the magic system is very important when you're building a fantasy world. So I want to make sure that I call attention to what the magic system is in the book that I read and how it stacks up. Today, we're doing an epic fantasy, and the book that we are going to be reviewing is Legacy of the Elder Dragon by Taylor Burr. Before I get into the actual review, let me just give you a quick rundown of what we're looking at here. Legacy of the Elder Dragon is an epic fantasy. This thing is long, this thing is deep, but it's awesome. The story follows a group of 4 main characters. We have Seraphina, Dorian, Old Bastion, and Killian. All of these characters are incredibly unique and in depth. They have their own backstories, they have their own wants and desires. They come together to form a, for lack of a better term, raid group, and thus begins an epic adventure through a magical world. This book reads like it is a perfectly set up Dungeons & Dragons module. Like, I could totally see DMing characters through this world. What happens to them and what unravels in front of them, you're going to have to read the book to find out. So, let's get into the rating system. Let's break this thing down. Let's give this thing a review. Number 1, the cover. I like this cover. I really do. I think the art on this cover is fabulous. You get all 4 characters right there. You get a good idea of what these characters are before you even open the book based on the art that you see on the cover here. Because you got your archer, you got your magic guy, you got your swords lady, and then you got your big tank. And then, big ass dragon. Who doesn't love a big ass dragon? I would have loved a different font, I feel like. Would have made it pop a little bit more. But otherwise, it's a solid cover. If I picked this thing up at a bookstore and looked at it, I would know what I'm getting into. It's an epic fantasy. You're going to have epic characters, and there's a big dragon. Solid 4 out of 5 on the cover. Number 2, the writing. Technically, the book is excellent. The one dangerous thing that you tend to get into with epic fantasy that I've found is that you can get very, very wordy. This book kind of dances on the edge of that writing-wise, but it doesn't go fully overboard. We're not talking Tolkien levels of wordy here where we spend 2 chapters talking about the moss that grows on the rock on the road. It teeters from time to time as being a little bit too much, but it is technically incredibly sound. The descriptions are there. The fight scenes are perfect. I can picture them in my mind. It's beautiful. So for that, I'm giving the writing a 4 out of 5. Well done, Taylor. Well done. Characters. This was by far my favorite part of the book. Each one of these characters is incredibly memorable and unique and likable. Dorian is my favorite. I will die on that hill. He is hilarious. And I think that's one thing that a lot of epic fantasies can lack sometimes, is like giving their characters enough depth and likability all at the same time, so they're not just cookie cutter fantasy guys and gals. Fantasy guys and gals. So character wise, I'm giving this book a 5 out of 5. Characters are solid. Very, very solid. It's easily the strongest part of the book. One thing I should mention with the characters, that each character even gets their own chapter at the beginning that gives you a very in-depth look as to who they are. So before they even come together, you have a very clear picture of who each character is, where they come from, and what their motivations are going to be. That's solid. Love it. 5 out of 5 for characters. Now let's talk spice level. I do have a different kind of review moniker for the spice level. We have none, mild, medium, hot, extra hot, and 5-alarm fire. This book, it's a none. But it doesn't really need it. That's the thing that I love about reading so many different genres, is that you get a taste of everything under the sun. An epic fantasy like this doesn't need a whole lot of spice. I'm looking at you, George R.R. Martin. You know what you did. This book is perfectly enjoyable at a 0 spice level. Now here comes the unique fantasy genre category, the magic system. This is the one place where I feel like the book struggles slightly, but it's not for a major reason. The magic system is very D&D. It's very rudimentary, very middle of the road, very solidly a 3 out of 5. The 3 out of 5 is not a bad grade for the magic system, by the way. And again, the whole magic system rating thing is completely arbitrary. It's just my opinion. It's not unique, so I can't like go above and beyond and say that it's like a 4 or 5, because there's not a whole lot of uniqueness to the magic. It's magic. It does magic things. It does D&D magic things. That being said, it's solid. It's a solid magic system for an epic fantasy, and kind of what you would expect from an epic fantasy. So while I'm not really docking points off the final overall score for this, it gets a 3 in magic just because nothing super unique about it, but there doesn't have to be anything super unique about it. You can use a very typical run-of-the-mill magic system, and as long as you have a good story and deep and memorable characters to go along with it, your book's going to be great. So 3 on the magic system. Not bad. All right. Overall score. I'm giving this book an overall 4 out of 5. The story is good. There are good twists in the book, which I am not going to spoil here. The characters, like I said, easily my favorite part of this book. Dorian is good as boy. Praise Dorian. He is good as boy. It's just a very solid epic fantasy. Now, it is an epic fantasy. This book is long. And the one critique I do have is that it does get a little wordy, a little too deep. I think that you could have the same story without all of the depth. You've got to have some depth. If your characters aren't deep, the whole thing feels very shallow. It feels very skimmed off the top. You can tell by reading this book that the author slaved over this thing. This was a labor of love. This took years to come together. So Taylor Burr, well done. Legacy of the Elder Dragon by Taylor Beer, 4 out of 5 for Alec Wants to Read Your Book. Heavily recommend this thing if you are into epic fantasy. And Wizards of the Coast didn't even have anything to do with it, so that's a plus. So Taylor, thank you so much for letting me read your book. If you want to pick up yourself a copy of Legacy of the Elder Dragon by Taylor Beer, click the link down in the description below. I will have his book link where you can go to buy his book. Also, where you can support him on social media and all of that. I'm going to put his websites and his social medias and stuff like that down in the description as well. Make sure you show him some love, guys. Great fantasy writer. Now, thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. I appreciate that. If you wouldn't mind, maybe give this video a thumbs up, share it around with your friends, and if you're feeling so inclined, hit that subscribe button. It's 100% free for you, so hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and ring that little bell so you know every time I post one of these. I'm shooting right now to have at least 1 to 2 reviews out a week, so you're going to have a lot of content here. And if you really like the content, you should check out my Patreon. Huge thank you to my patrons over at patreon.com/AlecTheAuthor. You can join this amazing list of people and find yourself some awesome rewards, including stuff that's tied to my upcoming book, Abandon All Hope, as well as my other channel, The Ones That Bump Back, where I tell stories from folklore and mythology and legend, and usually they got a bit of a creepy or scary twist to them. Check that channel out as well. There'll be a link down in the description below. But check it out. Consider becoming a patron today. It really goes a long way to supporting the channel. Thank you guys again, and remember, be excellent to each other. I'll see you in the next video. Y'all take care. I want to read your book.
You keep such a wide